Well, hello there. This is my gorgeous friend Emma, who on the weekend got married to my gorgeous friend Ben, and I did Emma's makeup, so I thought I would show you guys. First of all, it was a really hot day, so I asked Emma to moisturize earlier, and I'm now just wiping her skin to keep it sweat free basically. I then went in with the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer, and I wanted to use this one for a couple of reasons. Firstly, Emma does tend to get a little bit oily, and also this is the most long-lasting primer I've ever used ever, so I thought it was just really appropriate, particularly because of what a warm day it was. And I have to say her makeup did last really well into the night as well, so I was really happy with that choice. I'm then just using a buffing brush to blend that in, even though I'd previously applied it with just a normal foundation brush. I'm using my Ray Morris brushes. They're the ones I generally use in my professional makeup kit because they're so luxurious. I'm then going in with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I think I may have used a mixture of number 4 and 6.5 on Emma. She had quite a nice tan. And I like to use the Armani foundation because it is dewy, it's just the most beautiful coverage, and you can build on it a little bit. So I do one kind of application of it, and then I go back over with a buffing brush, but on the buffing brush I have a little bit more foundation just to kind of build up that coverage just a little bit more. That's what I'm doing here, as you can see, and I'm just making sure I get it down her neck and around her ears and all the fun spots like that. I really like to pay quite a lot of attention to skin, and I think it's just a really important part of the makeup, so I tend to spend quite a lot of time perfecting it and making it look as dewy and flawless as possible before doing the rest of the makeup. And Emma did want a bronze dewy look for this. I'm then going in with the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I can't remember which shade I used, but this is a really beautiful concealer, and I'm just using a really random concealer brush to apply it. It's just one that I happen to have in my kit, although on myself I usually use the Zoeva Concealer Buffer brush. And I'm just blending that out, and she has such beautiful skin, so this part was really easy. I'm then setting the concealer around her eyes just with the Laura Mercier translucent loose setting powder, which I always use, and I'm just doing this before it creases so that the eyeshadow stays flawless. Now for brows, and this is another part of the makeup which I spend quite a long time on. I use the IT Cosmetics, I think they're called the Super Skinny Pencils. I think I've labelled it here anyway. They are absolutely amazing eyebrow pencils, and I use the shade Universal Taupe, I think is how you say it. I like to line underneath the brow a little bit and then use upward strokes to kind of make it look a little bit more feathered, and then I give it a little bit more shape again around the arch, both the top and the bottom of the brow, and then I like to really thin it out at the ends. The whole time I'm brushing her natural brow hairs upwards just so that the product blends through really evenly and there's no kind of pencil lines throughout the brow. And you can see that I really do spend quite a lot of time doing this. I then brush her brows upwards, and then I go and set them in place, and I'm using the Per-Fekt Brow Perfection Gel, which is just a clear setting gel. Now onto eyeshadow, and this is just a really nicely blended look. You'll see me blending a lot during this process. So I'm going in with the shade Frappe by Makeup Geek, and I'm just using that kind of in the contours of her eyes, but also over her main lid area as well, and kind of just all around that general area. Put it all over the eye basically. Here I go, blending away, blend, blend, blendaroo. There's so much blending involved in an eye makeup like this, but otherwise it's super simple. I'm then going in with the shade Cocoa Bear underneath her eyes. I use all Makeup Geek eyeshadows for this look because they're just beautiful and buttery, and they last really well, and they're just great shadows to use. So I'm using a small smudging brush to smudge that all underneath her eyes against her lash line. I then use a little bit of a mixture between Mocha and Americano, and I literally just dab my brush in each one, so who knows how much of each one I get on there. It's kind of like cooking, you know, throw a little bit in, see what happens. So I'm just using that on the outer third and then blending it through the contours as well. I then go back in with Cocoa Bear just to warm things up a little bit, and I'm just applying that again in her contours. I really focus on her natural eye shape, so going in the contours and blending out just a little bit as well. And here I go with the blending again. I'm then going in with this beautiful eye pencil, and I'm using a small angled liner brush to apply it, and I apply it all the way along her lash line. With a different eye shape, I may just apply it to, say, the outer third of the lash line, but for Emma's eyes, it's really easy to just line the whole lash line, and I think it looks best that way. This just gives the lashes a bit more definition. Emma did want a little bit of shimmer, so I've gone in with the shade Starry Eyed, also by Makeup Geek. I'm just applying that with a flat eyeshadow brush, and I'm just applying it to the center of her lid and a little bit either side of that, so it almost covers the whole lid area, but not quite. And again, I'm blending the eyeshadow. You literally cannot get enough of blending in this look, and I thought I'd keep all of that in the edit just so you could see how much blending I really do. Back in with Americano now underneath her eyes on a flat smudging brush, and I'm keeping that really close to the lash line this time just to make it a little bit more defined than it was. Now I'm just going in with a white pencil just to the lower waterline of Emma's eyes, and this just makes them look more open, and I think it also completes the makeup really nicely too. Now going in with Shimma Shimmer on the inner corners of her eyes just for a nice little highlight. I'm now just going back with the foundation brush just to clean up underneath her eyes and make sure there's no fallout, but with these eyeshadows there's really not much at all. I'm now adding a little bit of a glowy, dewy highlight using the Josie Maran Argan Illuminator. This is one of my all-time favorite products. And yes, I do still go back in and highlight afterwards, but this just gives a really nice natural glow to the cheeks. I then go in with a little bit of the translucent loose setting powder again just before I go over that with bronzer, and this is the NARS Laguna bronzer. I absolutely love this bronzer so much, and Emma really wanted to look nice and bronzed, so I've applied that to her cheeks, the contours of her cheeks, just to add a touch of contouring without the contouring, and around her forehead and underneath her jawline as well, and this just keeps a really nice all over bronze look. Okay, now for the real highlighting. This is my favorite part, which I know you guys know. I use the Anastasia Glow Kit in the shade Sundipped, which I'm obsessed with. I used a mixture between the shades Summer and Moonstone, again, who knows how much of each, and I applied this to the tops of Emma's cheekbones and also a little bit down the tip of her nose and on her Cupid's bow. I didn't want her nose to be overly highlighted for photos, but her cheekbones I was happy to highlight as much as possible. Now I'm just curling Emma's lashes, and I forget which brand these curlers are from, but Shimma make really amazing ones, and this just gives her lashes a little bit of lift before I apply mascara. Now onto mascara, and I rarely use waterproof mascara. I mean, weddings are the best time, and also Ben was singing Emma down the aisle, so I knew there were going to be some tears. And I'm just painting that on with a brush because I basically just want to coat the lashes in mascara. They don't need to be too thick because I'm now going in with individual lashes. I'm just using the Ardell Duralash, which I use all the time, and I do have a full tutorial on how I apply individual false lashes. I feel like I'm saying that in nearly every video these days, but basically I apply the shorts kind of from the inside 2/3 to the way of the outer corner, if that makes sense, and then the mediums on the outer third of the eye, and that just gives the eyes a little bit of lift. I use the Duo waterproof glue for this, and I use the dark shade because then it blends really well into the black lashes. I also wanted to take this time to explain why I love individual false lashes for weddings. Firstly, they don't fall off, and if they do, it's going to be one rather than, you know, the edge of a strip starting to peel and then the rest of the lash just slowly coming undone. I just think they look really natural as well, and they're just so long lasting. Like, you can leave these on for days. I actually really hope Emma did leave them on for days. They say that great minds think alike, and I did ask Emma to bring her own lip product so that she could touch up throughout the day, and she bought Sports Girl lip chalk in the shade Sandstorm, which I wear all the time. It's a matte finish, but it's super duper comfortable to wear, and it's really long lasting. And even though Emma's lips were a little bit dry, it still looked really good on, and it didn't make them look too chapped. I'm now finishing off the look with MAC Fix Plus, and I'm applying this just so that her makeup looks really dewy and powders don't look too powdery on the skin. And this is a finished look. I was so happy to be a part of Ben and Emma's day. Look how cute she is. I just love it. She had no idea what to do in front of the camera. She's so cute. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye.